Can I be free? But it's no mind. Let go of these energies and these vibes. I'm really low. I'm trying to get high. Can I be free?
What's up, family? Welcome to the first episode of Curvy Confidence. I'm so excited to be back at it, to be back in action, to be with each and every one of you. This is literally a dream come true and something that I have been praying over and that has been in my spirit for years. Today's episode is going to be about depression. A lot of what I have been going through for over the last couple of years was dealing with a deep spout of depression, feeling like I couldn't go forward, feeling like I couldn't move through this or move past it. That is a lot of the reason why I kind of fell off the face of the earth. So for those of us that are not familiar with what Curvy Confidence is a platform that advocates for body positivity and for self-love. So whether you are a size 0 or you are a size 40, I don't even know if that exists, but if you are a size 40, it doesn't matter. This is a healing space for you to accept all that you are, all that God has created you to be, and we provide tools and resources to get you to a place that is healthy within yourself. And also, I believe in taking a very transparent approach. And so I will be transparent with my story, and each guest that comes on has made a vow to be very transparent with their story as well, so that we create a space that is a healing space for all. Curvy Confidence was first started in 2016, and I just really felt, if I'm being real with y'all, like I felt like a fraud. Like I was saying this stuff, but I hadn't really lived this stuff. And I was talking about something that I really didn't believe. I was saying love yourself, but every time I looked in the mirror, I hated myself. I was saying you can do it, your dreams could come true, but I didn't believe that mine could. And then I got my heart broken, and I felt what depression may feel like for the very first time in my life. And it took me out. It literally took me out. So I reached a point where I just wanted to crawl in bed, cover my head, and not get up. And I didn't. I got in bed, I covered my head, and I didn't get up. And it took me a couple of years to be like, okay, Brittany, we coming out, we shaking this out. And I'll be very transparent with you. My depression almost took my life. The moment where I realized that I got to get up from here is I had made a plan. I had planned it. I was going to take my life, and I went into my closet in my Atlanta apartment. I lived in Atlanta at the time, and I had what I was going to use, and I was going to do it. And my dog, actually, coincidentally, for those that are watching this episode, it's the dog that is actually in the frame. Scratched on the door. He's a spoiled baby, if you can't tell. And he scratched on the door. And he scratched in the door literally seconds before I was to do the deed. And it saved my life. I got up from there, from that closet floor, and I said, okay, Brittany, we got to do something different here. And it's been a journey ever since. And what I'm learning is the signs when a depression flare-up is coming. I'm learning ways to negotiate those moments and really move through those moments. But it is a journey, and it is a struggle every day. But I hope that by sharing my story, I am able to inspire you and motivate you to just keep going, to keep pressing through, because you're so worth it and you're so loved. So this podcast and vlog is going to start a little differently than most. We're going to start with prayer. No matter what your religious background is, you are welcome in this space. I do recognize Jesus Christ as the Lord of my life. And so I do pray to Jesus. And we're just going to start with a quick prayer before each episode. So wherever you are, if you're driving, please do not bow your head, but wherever you are, Father God, I just thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for this platform. I thank you for each and every soul that will listen to this podcast or watch this vlog, God. And I thank you for each soul that you are bringing to us. God, I pray that whatever message you want to be sent out today is the message that is sent out and is received. Father God, I pray that I decrease and that you may increase. I pray that you give me the courage and the strength to be very transparent and open with what you've taken me through and what you've seen me through. This I pray in your son Jesus' name. Amen, y'all. Let's get started. So our first segment is what we call the gem of the day. And what the gem of the day is, it's just a little opportunity for me to kiki with you and just give you a story or a situation that has helped me out. And I really love animals. My favorite animal is an elephant, but I am really fascinated with animals and how they maneuver throughout their worlds. And I recently was like looking into lions. I had a brain fart, y'all. I was looking into lions recently. Actually, it wasn't that recent. It was a couple years ago. And I was looking at how they hunt, right? Because I am someone who is goal oriented. Depression made me forget that, but I am goal oriented. And so, what I had to do was I was like, okay, well, what other animals, when they lock in, they're locked in. And I was like, oh, lions. And so I began to do research. And what I realized is that when lions hunt, they take the loudest, oldest, and slowest lion and they put them on one side of the prey. They take the fastest, quickest lions and place them on another side of the prey. The job of the oldest and slowest lion is to roar as loud as he possibly can. When he does this, the prey becomes afraid and they believe that that is where danger is. And so naturally they run in the opposite direction. However, remember I said that the lions place the fastest ones on the opposite side of the roar. So what happens in our lives when we run in the opposite direction of what scares us? We run right into danger. In my case, I didn't want to run towards the fear. I didn't want to run towards the pain. I didn't want to run towards the heartbreak. So I ran away from it and I ran right into depression's lap. I started to knock right on suicide's door. And I always wonder what happens when we run in the direction of our fear. What happens if that roar that is so loud that it stops us in our tracks? What happens if we stop, we take a breath, and we move forward anyway? This week, I want to ask you to identify what in your life is roaring the loudest and to see if you can go in that direction anyway. What happens if you go in that direction anyway? Our next segment is the sex tip of the week. One of my life's missions is to advocate that fat women are sexy women. Even women without curves are sexy. And we can all be sexy, right? Just because I'm a size 18 or a size 20, it doesn't mean that I am not sexy. This is my sexy. For those listening on the podcast, what I did was I just grabbed my belly and I said, this is my sexy. In episode 2, you'll see why that is so delicious. This is my sexy. And so the sex tip of the week, y'all, ladies, we have this beautiful thing and it is called hair. And this is one of the Kama Sutra tips and it works. What happens when you know you're about to give your significant other a pleasant surprise? If you take your hair and you allow your hair to glide against their body from the tip of their neck all the way down as you go to give them the pleasant surprise, what happens is it sends these shocks and these through their body, and it literally takes them into a whole new level of ecstasy. Try it out. Tell me how it feels. Literally, all you have to do is, as you're kissing down their body, let that hair fall to one side. For my natural sisters, this may be a little hard to do, but you got this, boo. Work through it. You let the hair just glide from the neck down the torso all the way down to the big shebang, and just see what happens. And when you get proposed to, you're welcome. Okay. This week I have a very special surprise for you in terms of this interview. The reason why this interview is so special to me is because I didn't know this woman maybe not even a month ago. I did not know her at all. We released Curvy Confidence's Instagram, and she reached out to me and she said, listen, I deal with depression. I've dealt with depression, and I really want to share my story. And I said, well, what an amazing opportunity for you to be able to do that on our platform. You're our sister. Come on, share with us. And while we were getting everything together and I was organizing, I realized, wait a minute, you're in Nigeria? Whoa! And in that one conversation, I realized that a prayer had been answered, and Curvy Confidence had become an international platform. And I'm so excited for you guys to meet Melanie Okosa. She is a light beam. She is an entrepreneur. She is so transparent in her story. And so check her out and let me know what you think. All right. Hi, Melanie. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just for
Thank
really
you,
quickly, thank you. Really quickly, I did read your bio right before we started, but if you could, just please tell the people who you are and where you're from.
Okay, I'm Ginika Melanie Okosa, and I'm from Nigeria.
You know why I'm really, really excited about this, Melanie, is because when I first started the Curvy Confidence Instagram and you reached out and you were just so excited to have a conversation with us, and I didn't even know that you were from Nigeria. I was like, yeah, girl, just come on, you're family. Can you do episode 1? And then when we were trying to organize everything, I was like, you're from Nigeria? And so just to know that we are able to connect, that Curvy Confidence is now something that is international, I am so grateful, and that is because of you. So thank you, girl.
Thank you too for having me.
Absolutely. One of the reasons why I really connected with you is that you were so open and so willing to share your story surrounding depression. Can you please tell us, how did it start for you? What were the first signs that made you feel like something might be a little off? And how did you find out or be diagnosed with depression?
Well, I started going through depression when I was in my early teenage years. First, when I was 13, I'd always been shy as a child, but then again, and I was always into myself. I wasn't so much of an extrovert. But then again, when I was diagnosed as, someone who has depression, I actually figured it out. I started to figure it out on my own, basically because, it isn't really, I didn't really understand it, and it was new to me. It was all new to me. So the things I noticed was the fact that I wanted to be alone. I was sad, and I didn't understand why I was sad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
My brain wasn't functioning properly. I would usually be able to stay on conversations with my friends for a long time, have civil conversations with them. But when I was depressed, and I wouldn't be able to keep up with these conversations, I felt like my brain wasn't functioning. I felt like my world was on standstill. Everything was black and white.
Wow,
and
everything was black and white. That is so powerful. That is so powerful, because people that don't deal with depression, they don't understand that that's literally how you see the world. It's one thing or it's another. It's black or it's white. So to hear you say that, like, you just gave me an epiphany, because that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. There's no gray. It's either I'm happy, I'm in a good mood, or I am on the completely other side of the spectrum.
Yeah. What do you mean? What
Like
did you say?
I said, there is no gray area with depression, right? It's either
Yeah.
it's a really really good day, or it's a really really
Exactly. Exactly. And then some days I would try to get out of it. Some days, like when my mom would come back home and she would buy me something new, something nice, I would feel good about it to an extent. But I didn't feel happy. I
Mm,
was happy that I felt good that, oh, I had something new. But it didn't come with that joy that you would feel when you get a new toy. Do you get what I mean? So I couldn't feel anything anymore. My family who used to make me so happy, I didn't feel happy anymore. There's nothing they did. What I would do literally to get over it, my mood was to watch movies a lot. And and when I was watching these movies, I couldn't pay attention. Like I wasn't even comprehending what they were saying. Do you get what I mean? What's being said in the movies. So I
mm,
couldn't even hear them talk. So it was literally just I was levitating, literally, without knowing what's going on around me. Do you get what I mean?
yeah.
I wasn't being paying attention to my world anymore. And then again, I would sleep a lot just so that I wouldn't um live through the phase. I wasn't even seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I wasn't even seeing myself getting over it. I would wake up each morning and feel so bad about life. I didn't want to talk to anyone. Even in some of the relationships I had, I
Mm,
lost some of them because of depression, because I was all bubbly. I'm a very happy person. I'm very goofy, and all of a sudden I'm not myself anymore. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I just want to be in my space. Do you get me? So like it was like moving from one person to a totally different person. Do you get me?
yeah. And then it's so funny that you say that, because I currently am in a relationship with the love of my life. And there are times
Okay.
when I am going through a depression flare up, and I am completely a totally different person. And at the beginning of it, he was very much so like, wait, where did you go? Like, where did my bright light, funny
Go to
person, where did you go?
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
I think what people have a hard time understanding with someone that deals with depression is, in a flare up, you can't access that person, right? You
Exactly.
are literally just not yourself. And as much as you
Exactly.
want to get to that person, you can't get to them. You literally just
Exactly.
cannot access them. And so this is an amazing segue. I want to talk a little bit about how, when you realized that you were depressed and you just weren't yourself anymore, how did your family and those that love you, how did they adapt to this change?
Well, they actually just tried to most usually my youngest brother, the last born of my mom, he would always stay around me. He would always be around me. I would make him watch movies with me because that was the only thing that kept me going. And I just wanted someone to talk to. Sometimes I would try to explain how I feel to him, just so that I can try to find a solution or try to find the reason why I feel sad. So he would try to understand me. He was always by my side. My mom would always buy me new things. So they were always very supportive. Like they didn't understand why I was sad, but they tried to make me happy at the point at that time. They gave me all of their time. They gave me all of their attention. They made me feel special, literally, up until the very point when I snapped out of it. And they always reminded me that you'll be fine. You're going
Mm.
to be fine.
Can
So
you
that was how,
Can you
you
talk a
know,
little bit about that moment, the moment that the words that you used were snapped out of it? What was that moment like for you?
well, that is the best phase of depression. That is the best phase. I call it a blessing. You know why? Because anybody that has been through depression and is able to snap out of it or come out of it is the strongest person I know.
Mm,
Trust me. Because you sink deep into it Do you get what? It's like falling into a hole that doesn't have a bottom.
Mm.
Do you get what I mean?
Falling out of a hole that doesn't have a bottom. Wow, that I love that. That's yummy. Yes.
It's like falling into a hole that doesn't have a bottom. You just keep falling and there's no end. Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So literally, if you're able to climb out of that hole, it is the most amazing feeling. I think I don't know if it's a trigger or if the phase just runs out. I still haven't been able to grasp that aspect. But it just, back then, while I was still growing, it literally the phase just goes, it just phases out because I didn't understand. With time, when my family shows so much love and so much support, one day, and I used to pray a lot. I was always praying. So even though I couldn't assemble my words together to pray to God, but I would always say a little prayer. So yeah. So after which, when it was time, I would come out of, the depression stage. But now that I'm older, I'm in more control of myself. I'm in more control of my emotions. I now know how to handle depression. I know how to handle. I never let myself sink anymore. I never
So
let
when
myself
those
sink.
feelings come up, what do you do to manage it so that you don't start to sink?
Because whenever I'm depressed here, because I become an introvert, I don't want to do the things that I don't have energy to do anything exciting anymore. Don't want to socialize, don't want to go out, don't want to do anything that I would usually want to do. So what I do whenever I feel like I'm going to be depressed anymore, because you can feel it when it's coming.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
In its early stage. So what I do is I push myself to go out. I make sure I have my friends around me. Whenever that voice in my head tells me, Melanie, you're tired, don't go anywhere. That is the time. That is the time I push myself to actually put on my shoes and go out. Yes, I literally go to a party and go dancing, with my friends. And even though I know I'm not feeling it, but I push myself. And with time, yes, because when you're not, even when you're making that conscious effort, do you get what I mean? And you can't feel it, you can't feel anything because depression is gradually creeping into your life. Do you get what I mean? But because you're making that conscious effort, you're fighting it within you, and it will show. It will come out it will show from the inside out at some point, and it doesn't last for that stage doesn't last for too long because you have already been able to fight it.
That is amazing advice because I'll be transparent with you. I had a flare up this weekend. Yesterday for me was, girl, and even today, like I was. If I hadn't logged onto Instagram and you hadn't messaged me saying, hey, like I'm ready, I probably would have wrote you back and been like, can we do this another time? Because I just was like, nah, I just wanted to be in bed with the blankets over my head, crying. I didn't want to do anything. So that, like, just to hear you say in those moments when you first feel it, you have to there is this push that has to happen, because if you don't, you will sink.
Yes, exactly. So do not let yourself sink. Never ever. That time you feel like it's coming, have your friends around you, have your family around you. If they're not around, go to meet them. Take a day off work. Take yourself out on a treat. Give yourself a treat. Go to the movies. Even when you don't feel like you want to watch a movie, even though when you don't feel like you want to see your friends, just go. Do you get what I mean? Just go.
Right.
And you're not, it's not going to last. Trust me. It's not going to last.
What advice would you give to family members or friends who are dealing with a family member or loved one that has depression?
Okay, I would say first things first, they should learn to manage their expectations.
Girl, that was so yummy. Okay, learn to manage your expectations.
Yes, because it is a different thing when you say, oh, I can handle it. And it's different when you say, when you actually experience it. So there are two different things. Oh, okay, it's just depression. Okay, I can handle it. You know, and then, oh my God, it's actually happening. Why is she like this? Why isn't she her normal self? Do you get what I mean? What can
Yeah.
I do? And even when I'm doing stuff to help her out, she's not coming through. Like, she's not coming through for us. She's not her normal self anymore. So literally, they have to learn to manage their expectations. So whenever they feel like we're not giving you, the loved one who's depressed is not giving, is not trying to, it doesn't seem like they're coming out of that depressive stage or phase. They should just be there, just show love, regardless. Regardless, they just need, and then don't push it. You know, if they say they don't want to do something, don't push it. Don't make them feel like, don't say hurtful things to them. Don't make them feel like you're trying so hard. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't put pressure on them, because pressure is another trigger. Do you get what I mean?
Pressure is a
Mental
major trigger. Yeah.
mental stress is a trigger as well. And physical stress is also a trigger.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you have to.
And so, for anyone that may be listening today who may be in a flare up or may be feeling a little like something isn't necessarily right now, what advice would you give to them?
Sorry, you said?
I said, so for those that may be dealing with depression right now, whether they are still trying to figure out what it is or know exactly what it is, what advice would you give to them right now?
My advice to them would be pray. Pray and don't give up. You are normal. There's nothing wrong with you, you know. The only difference you have is the fact that you are strong, because if you have been able to go out of depression in and out, you are stronger, you are more. You should know that you are enough. And then again, whenever you feel like you can't get out of depression or you feel like it's coming, fight. Fight. Fight with all you've got. Just so that you don't fall into that pit of depression. You know what I mean? You have to fight. You have to fight with all of everything you have. And always have your loved ones around.
Yes.
As always.
I feel like you are ministering to me right now. Girl, you have to fight with everything that you have. That just blessed me. What would you say to 5-year-old Melanie? If you could have a conversation with her, what would you say?
5-year-old?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would tell her to... You should have never worried in the first place. You should have never ever felt ashamed of yourself. You should have never bothered at all, because you'd have had it all figured out. God has got you. You know, you're strong. Literally, you're a strong woman, and I'm super proud of you.
Yeah, Melanie, this was so great. Thank you so much for joining us. We have to have you back.
What did you say?
I said thank you so much for joining us. We have to have you back.
Oh, sure. I would love to come back.
And thank you for your transparency. You blessed us today. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Just pleasant. And always, please, don't lose this. Don't lose this.
Yes,
You are strong. You are strong.
Oh, girl, you're blessing me. Please don't make me cry. Because I will burst out into tears on this, but you have my word. We are sisters for a very long time, forever. And I'm so proud of you. You are gorgeous. If you're watching the podcast, please watch the vlog so you can see how gorgeous this woman is. You are gorgeous.
Oh my God.
Before we go, I do want to talk a little bit about, you are an entrepreneur. Please tell us. Yes, please tell us about your company and what it is that you're doing and where they can check you out.
Okay, I run an online fashion store. It's called Mel de Fidel. Mel _ de, D-E, then _ Fidel, Fidel. And you can find me on Instagram. and it's an online fashion store. I sell clothes and accessories for women, and hats and wristwatches for men. It's all things fashion.
Good. And
Yes.
just tell them really quick, what's your Instagram handle so they can check you out?
My Instagram handle for the business or my personal one?
Whichever one you want to share.
Oh, I would love to share myself.
Yes.
Yes, so it's Melanie K Okosa, which is MELANIE KOKOSA at Melanie K Okosa altogether. It's actually Melanie Kokosa.
Yes.
If you look at it that way, yeah.
It is. It is
Yeah.
Melanie Okosa. Yes. And if they ever need help, you are always on the Curvy Confidence Instagram, so they can check you out there too. But I do want to let you know, my sister, you have blessed us today, and I know that you've helped someone. So thank you so much for your transparency.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And you did this from Nigeria.
Yay! You're so beautiful.
You are beautiful. Thank you so much. And I will be in touch soon.
Okay.
Right.
Mwah. Mwah.
Thank you guys for checking out that interview with Melanie. You know, one thing that I really enjoyed from that interview is when I asked Melanie to talk about how she would tell someone or tell her family members to deal with her or to deal with someone who is dealing with depression. And one thing she said was, learn to manage your expectations. I know that as I deal with depression, sometimes I feel like I'm an other because I feel crazy. And as a family member or a loved one, the moment that you say something to make me feel crazy, it sends me down a spiral. And if I say that I can't do something in a moment, you have to understand that I probably really can't do something in a moment. As bad as I may want to, I literally cannot do something in that moment. And so hearing her say that it's about managing your expectations, it really blew my mind, because for me, it's also about managing expectation of self too. Brittany, you don't feel like you can do this right now. Okay, we won't. In full transparency, I am recording this episode one day after I had scheduled me to do it, because yesterday was a bad day for me. I was like, I can't get out of bed. I cannot get out of bed. But also what Melanie said, and when you can feel depression coming, when you feel that baby knocking, what happens when you allow that to provide a catalyst for you, to serve as a catalyst for you to just get up, to keep moving, to keep pressing through. She said that when she feels that, she puts on her tennis shoes and she goes. And so whenever my next flare up happens, that is some advice that I'm really gonna take. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna put on my shoes and I'm out the door. I'm like, it's time to go. Brittany, I know you wanna lay down. I know you wanna give up, but it's time to go. Our conversation went a different way today. And I know that I had been telling everybody I was going to talk to you about what it means to be a rocket in your life. And so know that I will absolutely be talking about that, but you got to come back for episode 2. Thank you so much, family. It has been a definite pleasure. Welcome to the Curvy Confidence family, season 1, episode 1, baby. It is only up from here. We are some healing monsters. We are crushing it. We are crushing depression, and we are on our way. How we end every episode is an affirmation that we're going to take throughout the week, and also 3 breaths together in unity with one another. So my affirmation for this week is that I am whole, I am healthy, I am here. Ooh, y'all, that just hit me. I needed to hear that. Yeah, I needed to hear that. My affirmation again, I am whole, I am healthy, I am here. And together we're just gonna take 3 deep breaths to send each other off in love. I love you. Thank you. And I'll see you next week. Ow, I'll see you next week. Ow, I'll see you next week. Ow, I'll see you next week. Mwah!
Let go these energies and these vibes. I'm really